Okay, so I just picked up this little 50cc Chinese four-wheeler. It's beat to death. This is broken. It's garbage. But I got it for $50. The parts are dirt cheap for this. First, we're gonna see if it runs. If it does run, then we're gonna start fixing stuff up. Our throttle cable feels like it's stuck. Yeah, that throttle's seized up real bad. We're gonna have to dive into that carburetor, but at least it does turn over. Okay, so I'm gonna start by taking off all the fenders. I gotta pull this off, and then it's just easier if I take all the plastics off. It looks like it's only a couple screws holding it on. So now we can take a better look at this thing. You can see now the muffler has been ripped off of its mount. I can weld that back easy. Here's our carburetor. This air hose is pretty messed up. We'll see what we can do about that. And the carb is pretty awful in there. And the throttle is stuck. I also want to check this out with the brakes. I'm not really sure what's going on here. It looks like this sight glass is busted or something. Put a new fuel filter on it. Here's another look at that air hose where it's real messed up. It's missing the headlight bulbs. That's nothing crazy. And here's our key switch. I'm not too sure what to do about that either. Okay, so I've got the carburetor taken apart. You can see this is just absolutely horrible. I have it fully disassembled. It's real grimy. Definitely would have not run. I did break the throttle cable trying to get that slide out, but it's a Chinese quad. Parts are cheap. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever used an ultrasonic cleaner. I just got the cheap one from Harbor Freight. Okay, so far I'm pretty impressed. These are parts that have come out and are pretty much finished. That was completely stuck and gummed up, so that's amazing to see. These screws look absolutely great. These are some of the adjustment screws. They look awesome. This stuff cleaned up really nice. Okay, so this is pretty incredible. You see the end result. And we still have a little grit in there, so we'll clean that out. See, it's not perfect. You gotta help it out. But it's cleaned this stuff up so well. This stuff was brown and black before I put it in, so we're gonna get to clean the rest of that stuff out and then reassembling the carb. Okay, so the carb's mostly assembled now. I've got the choke and everything back in place. And the last thing is the throttle. Now, it doesn't stick anymore. I've already tried it out. But the throttle cable broke originally when I tried to get the old one out. So I'm going to order a new one. But for now, just to try it out, I have this cable that's almost the same length as the old one. It's actually the throttle cable from this old Yamaha 3-wheeler motor. I got this for free like last year and didn't really know what to do with it, so I've just stolen parts off of it as I needed them. I'm just gonna try unplugging the key real quick. Sweet, gotta lower that idle down. Okay, well, it's leaking a lot of gas and I can smell it starting to burn, so we'll get that figured out, but it runs pretty good. All right, so we got this thing running. It doesn't run the greatest, but we'll tackle that later. Right now, I'm gonna work on wiring up a new ignition switch. I'm just using this little switch. It's like 5 prongs on it, and that's gonna take place of our old key switch. Now back here at the brake caliper, the problem I'm having is I don't think this is the original one, because if you take it back here where it's supposed to mount up, you can see that does not fit at all. Now granted, it goes down further. It goes about closer to down there, but it still doesn't fit. You see, this is hitting against the frame real bad, and this is not set up how it should be. So yeah, right there, that's where it would sit. You see it's just sitting on the frame right there, and this is actually the mounting bracket right here. It's right up against the disc. So that's obviously not right. So instead, the plan is gonna be take those 2 mounts off and weld them back on this side, so that now the caliper will fit and it won't be hitting anything over here. So while I'm welding that, I'm also gonna go ahead and take care of that broken piece, and we're gonna weld the muffler back on right there. I'm not gonna film the welding because I've heard it messes up your camera, and I don't really wanna risk it, so I'll get to that and y'all will see that later. Okay, so here we are, we've got the muffler welded back up. Not really the prettiest, but it works. And then here's this piece. And I've actually noticed it had already been broken off before on the other side, so someone had previously welded that. But that's fixed as well now. I also found out that the brake mount was just flipped over to the wrong side. So that's taken care of. We've got some new hardware here, and we're gonna put that back on. All right, and now here we have it fully reassembled. Here's our brakes. We've got the brake line hooked up. That's all good to go. Sprocket's back on. This is all back on. Adjusters are set all the way out. The muffler's back. I tried to soak the carb seal in PB Blaster, so we're gonna put that back on real quick and see if that fixes the leaking issue. That's a lot quieter now. No more leaks around the carb, so that's good. All right, so our first little bit of parts has come in for the mini quad. Let's go ahead and open this up. We've got the throttle. And we've got our throttle cable. It's real smooth. So we'll go ahead and install all these. All right, now our handlebars are done. We're gonna put brake fluid in this and bleed the brakes, and we're gonna install this throttle cable. All right, so we got an air filter. Also got a chain. The people I bought this thing from told me, I don't really remember why they said the chain was gone, but I guess I never noticed that this was right up against the gear. So they got me on that. So that's gonna have to be shortened big time. This front sprocket doesn't really fit this chain, but the back one does. So you see the rear sprocket is the one I measured when I went to buy the chain, and it fits perfectly. But this front sprocket does not fit like at all. See, it rides up on the ends of the teeth. So before buying a new sprocket, I decided to look more into the issue I was having. And all that was happening was that this area, it's in the smaller part of the links, was grabbing on to the width of the gears or the teeth before it let the chain sit down, let the rollers go down in their little spaces. So I just took a grinder and sanded, I guess, a couple millimeters off, maybe 1 or 2, until the chain fit just perfectly, and now we've got it. Okay, so our new chain is on. It's tightened. Just a good little amount of play. Not gonna come off that way. And you see it's working well on that gear up there now. So the last thing we're missing now is brakes. I tried to reuse the old master cylinder. The actual cylinder rotted away. So I'm ordering a new master cylinder that'll be here next week. But other than that, I'm done. I'll have to get a battery, but we need the fenders on for that. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do, is we're gonna reinstall the fenders, put a seat on, and take it for a little ride, I guess. All right, so I got it running. Make sure that choke is off. All right, so we've got a battery. We've got our new master cylinder up front. Our chain is tightened properly. I need to break it in some. So next we're gonna bleed the brakes. The battery's already charged up, and then we're gonna wash it and ride it around for a bit and get everything settled in. Brakes work well. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this video. It does run, it does drive, everything works good. So if you like this kind of content, we're going to be doing a Will It Run on this. I guess that. We've got this. And we just do all kinds of four-wheeler content. I do tractor content. Whatever you can think of, stuff with a motor. So if that's what you're into, go ahead, subscribe, and you won't be disappointed.